Hello all, this is a new video for the race officers on Oyster, or actually anyone that might want to use a chart plotter for whatever reason whilst doing a duty on Oyster. We have made the decision to invest in what's described as a rugged tablet. It's a waterproof tablet computer that's got, it's a Samsung unit, looks essentially like a ginormous smartphone. It's waterproof, so the actual unit itself is waterproof, and it has a shockproof case on it as well for extra protection. We're going to be keeping the tablet in the waterproof lockbox because frankly I think it's the only place to be able to store like consumer electronic goods on the boat without them getting contaminated with, you know, damp or whatever. So we're going to do that. In the box you've got obviously everything else that we keep in for the race officer duties, but you'll see the tablet here, and we've got a plug. So the plug simply goes into one of the DC sockets underneath the console. You'll see that it's live because it lights up. No light, so you know that it's working. And you'll also see that the end of the charger lights up too. So when we're using it, just make sure that you plug it in. So it's plugged in every time. It will hold charge, but I think it's just good practice to make sure that it's plugged in when it's in use. There is also a spare socket here as well. So if for whatever reason we have a malfunction and it's not charging, then you've got a spare socket to use. But that lives in the box too. Okay, so the tablet itself, it's a very simple unit to use, and I really don't think we'll have any problems using it. Let me turn the VHF off. Right, to turn it on, we use the long button at the top. Don't be misled, it's not the little red one, it's the long one at the top. And you just hold it for a couple of seconds, and then we should see in good time the tablet come to life, hopefully. I can walk you through what it takes to make it work. There we go. So it just takes, like every other phone, it takes 30 seconds probably to boot up. So the decision was made to buy one of these to start with, to see how we get along with using the chart plotter, because for the feedback from race officers and other people that are used to using Oyster regularly for racing was that what we needed really was a replacement for a depth sounder. We couldn't seem to get a depth sounder to work on Oyster, something to do with the aluminium hull and the way the electronics work with that. So the decision was made to try and use a chart plotter to be able to essentially locate where we are in the harbour in relation to the channel and other navigation marks. So this is the option. If we wanted to go down the Garmin route and have a fully installed piece of kit, we'd be looking at probably closer to £1,000. This particular unit cost us only 200, and I think that for a chart plotter, it will do everything that we need it to do. So once it's turned on, you want to just give it a swipe like a phone, and we should see the three icons on the top. There's 3 apps that are pre-installed on here, that the ones that we'll be using. In fact, to be honest, the one that we'll mainly be using is Marine Navigator, which is the chart plotter app. There are 2 others. You'll see Anchor Light there. That is it's a GPS anchor drifting app. So if you were interested, you can go on there and set your coordinates, and then it will track whether you're slipping on the anchor or not. So if you want to use that, you can do. GPS test in the middle there is just simply to work out whether we can get a beacon or not, which we can do here in the FAL, so that's not a problem. But if you wanted to test it because you felt like there was a potential issue with it, GPS test is how you do that. However, Marine Navigator is the one that we're going to be using most of. Our home screen here is right in the middle of the FAL, and it works just like a big smartphone would. You can push and pull in on the screen. The resolution is actually pretty decent. It's better quality resolution than you get using a chart, so really great. So 2 things that you want to be looking at here is at the bottom, we'll try and keep it set to true north, but if you wanted to change it, you can change it to your current bearing depending on where you are or the direction that you're facing. But We can keep it to true north if that's possible, just for consistency for everyone. Now, once we get a lock on, so once we're locked onto the GPS, you'll see at the top here that we get our bearings, and the little red boat in the bottom appears. That little red boat is essentially, that's us on the map. Now, when we have it in this little arrow mode that you can see, which you can cycle through by pressing here, when you've got it as the little finger, you can move around the map as much as you like, and it'll stay there. So if you wanted to browse around Falmouth for whatever reason, you can do, and it'll stay on that position within the map. However, if you moved it back to the boat icon, it brings you straight back to where the boat is. If you moved it back to the arrow icon, it brings you back to where our home is located. So for the purpose of using this for helping with club racing, I suggest that we have it always linked to our boat's location. So as we start moving around, you'll see that the boat will move around too, and it hopefully provides us with all the information that we need. Now, for some reason, the part of the map, oh, there we go, it's uploading. You'll be able to see all the detail that you need of the harbour here, including the navigation marks. So I really do hope that this helps us with just playing our courses better and being reassured that we're locating them in the right places. Now, this is not an in-depth video. This is really just a very quick crash course on how to use this particular piece of kit. There are so many options with Marine Navigator. I mean, this tablet has all the charts for around the globe installed in them, which you can access by the option button down here. We don't need any of that. This is almost too much for us, but it does do the job perfectly for just using for local navigation and for plotting our courses, for our race courses, I should say. This hopefully does the job, and it's nice and user-friendly, easy to start up, pack away, and I think perhaps even a bit easier than just using a Garmin, because you don't need any specialist knowledge to work it. It's super easy. I will, however, share a link to the London Chart Plotters YouTube channel, which, you know, this unit, although it's a Samsung unit, obviously it's created by a firm called London Chart Plotters, who put together the range of apps and, you know, upload the software that we need. So London Chart Plotters have done a bunch of videos that are way more in depth than this. So if you do want to find out more about how to use the chart plotter, then you can do through London Chart Plotters. But for me and for most people that will be using this is as much as you need to know. So once you're finished with it, just simply X out, and then just like any other phone, you hold the power button down for a couple of seconds, confirm power off, and you're good. It gives you a little vibrate to confirm that it's turned off, and then we put it away. So like I said to you before, that is a waterproof unit. The actual unit itself, the tablet, is waterproof, and then we have this really hard shockproof cover on the top. Then you unhook the charger, and that's how it lives, ready for the next go. And just remember to lock the box down, and obviously remember to turn the battery off once you're done. This won't work unless the DC sockets are switched on. So I made the mistake of this when I first came out to try and get things plugged in. For whatever reason, I didn't think it was working. Well, it's because I didn't have the DC sockets switched on. So the DC sockets are now always switched on. If for whatever reason you find it doesn't work, maybe take a look at that. Hope that helps. Any questions, you're welcome to ask me, or you can check out London Chart Plotters to see if they've got anything to help you. Cheers.